Ladies, can I ask you guys to just be vulnerable with me for 1 minute? I want you to get up on your feet. If you came out and your conditions financially wasn't perfect, your mental condition wasn't perfect, your health condition wasn't perfect, your relationship wasn't perfect, but you made it out here this weekend, and I want you guys to give yourself a round of applause for doing so. You made it. You took action. Y'all came out here this morning because y'all wanted to meet all of us to see what this crazy thing was going to do. We are looking for WAC people, willing, able, capable. Yes. As I would say, a couple of years ago, I told everybody I was here to earn my MBA, massive bank account. I'm still working on that, and I want all of you guys to come with me, and let's earn that bank account, ladies. Let's be WAC. Let's go for it. Let's not wait until actions are perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. Timing is never going to be perfect. Nothing in this world is perfect. So let's go. Let's take action. Let's go. Let's go to the top with me. And all the ladies here in the Alliance, let's go. You got this. My name is Angie Coleman, and I approve this message. Up next, I have this amazing lady. She has become a friend to me. So humble and so grateful. Angelica Swindell.
Good morning. Can you guys see me up here? Oh my gosh. Okay, so for those that don't know me, my name is Jill Swindell. I've been married a wonderful 8 years to my husband, Mr. Brant Swindell. And we have a 20-month-old little boy, Bridie, aka Bridie Bear. You probably know him. He'll be 2 in November, and I cannot believe how fast time flies. I just don't blink if you just had a baby. It's crazy. I just want to say how thankful, incredibly grateful and thankful I am to be up here today. Thank you, Andy and Jane and the Alliance, for your huge vision for us here. We wouldn't be here without it, and we wouldn't know what it's like to dream. And I want that for you guys. I want you to know that it's okay to dream. And we're just so incredibly thankful for the leadership here and the friendships and relationships that we've made. And I just see all of your smiling faces and just how much this has grown. We've been here for 6.5 years, and I just have seen this women's seminar grow and grow and grow, and that's because of the leadership that we have here. So thank you, Andy and Jane. If we could just please give a round of applause for Miss Jane Albright. Love you. Okay, so I wanted to start by asking just a couple of questions. So if it applies to you, raise your hand. How many of us have felt loved, respected, and welcomed on one of their first encounters here at the Alliance? Okay, awesome. And how many of us have met a close friend or bestie here at the Alliance? Okay, so it's almost everybody's hand has gone up. That is amazing, and that's so awesome because that's exactly how we want you to feel here. I'll tell you, when I first started, that was one of the things that I loved the most about the Alliance, was that it's such a big family here, and that we all love you. We all love everybody that comes in. And we are an alliance. We're not a divisions. And I know that's not a word, but I just made it up. So, and I like to think that we're like heaven here. We all have different backgrounds, different colors, different cultures, personalities. But one thing that we have in common is our character and love and respect we display here. So one person that comes to mind that is all that and more is Miss Jane Albright. Yes. She's real, she's loving, she's kind, she doesn't make you feel beneath her. She's exactly the opposite of rude. And this woman is so successful, and wealth attracts to her because of how likable she is. And I read once that rude is the poor man's imitation of power. Think of how successful Jane is. We put her up on a pedestal because she is so likable and relatable that wealth attracts to her. So can we just be like that? Can we model after her? Can we all do that? Okay. I'll tell you when a couple of first encounters that I had of Jane. This was one of my first conferences. I was sitting in the main area over there. She probably won't remember because it was years ago, but I was sitting and I happened to look over and she was at her seat and she looked over at me and she smiled and she waved and I was thinking, she's smiling at me? And I was like looking all around and I was thinking, wow, like who does that? Like that was just such a sweet gesture and she probably didn't even realize that like she was trying to do that. It's just her nature. She's so sweet. So I love that. And, you know, I was like, I wanted to go up and meet her, but I was a little bit nervous and didn't know what to say. It was like kind of a movie. I was like in the mirror. I was like, oh, do I shake her hand? Do I give her a fist bump? Do I hug her? What do I say? I don't really know. But I want to encourage you, get around her. Please get around her. She's so awesome. She doesn't make you feel beneath her. And we need to be like that here too. New people coming in, love them, listen to them, don't try to correct. And I want to give you a couple of tips on how we can show respect and politeness to new women coming in, and just new people in general, but I'm talking to the ladies here specifically today. For one, I know that we can get some cray-cray people coming in, and we're a little bit cray-cray ourselves. We all got a little bit of cray-cray, especially Noelle, because she likes to jump off stages. And she's got a little cray-cray in her. That's her cray-cray. You know I love you, so. But one of the cool things about the Alliance is that you can belong before you behave, okay? You just get them in, you be you, love people, and the system will work out the rest, okay? We need to get good at this. Look at me. Smiling and nodding, okay? Agreeing. We need to be agreeable. We can't constantly correct people. It's annoying. People don't like it. We don't need to do that. Likability equals profitability. If you want to see success and wealth in your business and your life, you need to be likable, okay? They'll stick around and your team will grow. If you're constantly correcting, think of your business or yourself like a big balloon with a bunch of air in it. Okay, it gets filled up by the more you're likable and you're loving on people, but when you constantly are correcting and putting people down, being rude, exclusive, not inclusive, just think of taking a pin and popping it. You're just completely exploding your business, so don't do that, okay? Be your own Jane Albright to others. Be you, but be like her too, okay? She's somebody that we can model after. One of the most detrimental things you can do to your business is create cliques. Don't do that, okay? Let's make a pact to be more inclusive than exclusive. In a world where toxicity and negativity commingle like ants on an anthill, let's extinguish that here, okay? Let's overflow with positivity, love, and life to those around us. And don't conform to what society wants you to be, okay? We want to leave people better than they came in. And that's what we do here. We make a difference. We're different here at the Alliance. That's why I love this company. We're allowed to be us. We're allowed to be different and accept people. Who's with me on that? Okay? Let's be the change we wish to see in the world for other people. Go love on somebody. Make it count. You're going to see your business grow tenfold. And I'm happy to do it with you, and I'm happy to be your friend. So for this next speaker that I'm about to bring up, she is awesome. She is a Roberts rock star. If we could help welcome to the stage Miss Kelly Haney.
Hey, y'all. Thank you, Jell. That was amazing. Hey, y'all. My name is Kelly Haney. As Miss Jell said, I am a Roberts rock stars. Let's hear it. Jane, Andy, thank you so much for this opportunity. Like Megan said, I don't take this lightly being on this stage. Tamara told me 2.5, 3 years ago, just if you keep talking, you won't vomit, so I'm gonna try that on y'all today, okay? It's worked so far, so thank you, Tamara. Jane, thank you for always having a smile, always texting when I don't even realize I need the text. Thank you for loving all of us and not giving up, because I know it was not easy for you when you started with Andy. So thank you for never giving up. Because, yeah, you tell it, yeah, okay, anyway. Tamara, thank you for not giving up either. Thank you for you and Paul never giving up on me. No matter what, y'all have always loved me. And it's hard to hear from Paul when you don't realize it, guys. It's kind of hard to say from somebody else that they love you because you're like, yeah, right. But guys, they do. All these women love you. And I love you. And let me try to get back to what I was supposed to talk about. I'm supposed to be talking about House of Values. One of my favorite topics, which is community, but within that community are unity and what that means to the Alliance. Look around, this is y'all's community. Without y'all, there would be no Alliance. But we have to protect that community as well. We have to make sure that we don't allow people that don't love each other and don't do what Jill said to make everybody happy, not happy, that's the wrong word, to make everybody feel welcome, to make everybody feel that it's okay to be here, whether you're broke, whether you're broken, whatever it is, whether it's cancer, whether it's not being able to have children, whatever it is, it's okay to be here. I want to talk about unity in the hotspots a little bit. Unity is a state of being one that builds a feeling of the collective we. The hotspots are the pulse and the heart of the Alliance. People are able to come together collectively for the mission of the Alliance. I want to read something that Andy wrote in here. It just keeps sticking with me over and over again. This type of alliance is best reflected by the person that comes and writes 5,000 in the first week, but continues to help set up chairs at a hotspot meeting. He or she is a team player, even though he or she is killing it. That's an example of a healthy person in a healthy community. A person's ego cannot get bigger than the allegiance to the cause. Winning an incentive trip, for an example, in a united culture becomes more than an individual reward and also an obligation to go and be part of the team. When Megan was talking about them all with their heads together, unity, I remember my first time walking into this women's conference, and Megan, I agree, it's one of my favorite parts of this. And I remember seeing Diane speak from the big stage, and I remember going, I want to be part of this. I need to be part of this. I want you all to know that there's not one woman in here that would not help you, would not be there for you, and would not lead to do whatever it is that you need help with. Please don't think you can't ask us for help. I think that was my biggest thing when I got here was I believed in the community, but I didn't realize the strength of all of us together. Angie, I love you, girl. You and I's paths are very similar. Jenny, we love you. Thank you. Jane, thank you. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for providing this unity for us. Thank you for providing a community where these women can come and share our hearts and not be afraid we're going to be judged. Thank you. The hotspots are where unity and the mission, the heartbeat of the Alliance, and our loyalty to Andy and Jane Albright. I believe the hotspots are where we can take this business to another level. You need to believe in that hotspot just as much as that leader believes in that hotspot. And we need to believe in it because we don't want to let Andy and Jane down. They have come before us and laid the road. All we need to do is continue believing in the way they've done it, with their heart and with leadership. We have to protect the community. If we don't, we let the team down. And like Michelle said earlier, what do we want? How do we get it? What do we want? How do we get it? I'm going to leave you with this. Ralph Emerson said, "We can work, but together we win." I have the amazing opportunity to bring up a very good friend of mine. My very first incentive trip to Hawaii, she texted me and she's like, "We have to have lunch on the beach." And I said, "Okay." And I didn't even realize in the beginning when I first got here, was a Roberts rock star. We love her. I just love seeing her. I love seeing her smile. She's a beautiful person inside and out. Will you please give it up for Miss Carrie Williams? And then you're going to need help of your keys. Got it?
I made it. Good morning, ladies. Was this, it's amazing so far. I don't know if I can top any of this. My name is Carrie Williams, and along with my amazing husband, Mike Williams, we've been here almost 9 years, and we are direct to the awesome Angie and Michael Owens out of Orlando. Woo! First, I want to thank Andy and Jane for this opportunity to share with you today and for believing in me. I don't take that lightly. I want to say how smart all of you are for being here. You didn't even know it. For some of you, it took a lot to get here today, didn't it? Yeah, and we don't take that lightly, and guess what? It will pay off, okay? If this is your first time, and I do this every year, you guys have to remember, we have to be real quick. If this is your first time to a Alliance event or convention, please stand up. Don't be shy. Wow! Oh my gosh, look at this. These are committed ladies. Oh my gosh. Oh wait, now real quick, I don't have a lot of time. Everybody stand up. Okay? Do a little stretch. Okay. I'm going to count to 3, and we are going to celebrate that we are here together and make some big noise because I want the men to hear us. All right? So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right! All right. Okay, thank you, ladies. Now I woke you up. I was so honored to be asked to talk to you today. I'm talking about The Aladdin Factor, Chapter 5, and the reason I tell you that is you might want to get the book and you might want to look it up. It's by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. Since Mike and I started here over 8 years ago, Andy has talked about owning a private jet. 8 years. He now owns 2. Who am I going to follow? Andy and Jane. He also has the cars he's talked about, the Lamborghinis, the Maybach, and he and Jane also own 3 multi-million-dollar homes. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is he and Jane talked about some of these things before they happened, right? Ladies, he and Jane started their business in the basement of their home 20 years ago. And they started just like many of us, paying bills with credit cards, putting all their money back into their business, and delaying their wants and needs for bigger returns. Andy dreamed with Jane, and I hope you don't mind me talking for you, Jane, believed and talked the alliance into existence and sacrificed and did the work. Leaders like Andy and Jane Albright, Heather and Fitzgerald, sorry, I'm a little nervous. Y'all make me nervous because you're beautiful. Diane Lampy, Tamara and Paul Roberts, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, just to name a few, did not get where they are by accident. I think Orson Marden says it well. All who have accomplished great things have had great aim. They have fixed their gaze on a goal which was high, one which sometimes seemed impossible. Guess what? Successful people believe it is possible to get what they want, and they ask for what they want, and you can too. When you talk as though a goal or a dream has already happened, you are tricking or convincing your mind into believing what you desire is true. And it then goes to work to do the necessary actions to achieve them. So how can you do this too? First, take time each day to visualize what you desire and see that you have already achieved it. Write down your goals and dreams. Ladies, you cannot accomplish what you haven't committed to. If it's up here, it's not happening. Whatever you do, make sure your goals and dreams stretch you. Here are some of my stretch goals and dreams. I have personally issue paid $400,000 this year. I have earned 4 trips to Alaska and Seattle. Here's my favorite one. I attract young recruits, all of you, recruits, like Alice and Aiden's. Hey, even if I don't hit these goals, what is the worst that could happen? I increase my sales. By the way, we are currently $20,000 ahead of last year issue paid. Coincidence? I don't think so. One of the goals I had and accomplished was to be trusted to speak from stage. I'm here. Another action plan is to have a dream board or a dream book. Guys, get those pictures out, paste them up, look at them, make sure they're there every day. Diane Lampy had a picture of a door and built a massive, beautiful mansion around it. She talked it into existence, thought it, and there it is. Your brain believes what it is told most. Make sure it's positive. Do you want the trip to Alaska and Seattle? Sit down, figure out how to get it, and your mind will get you there. But wait, oh boy, there is one thing you must have to do this, and that's belief. Belief in you. Belief in the Alliance. Belief in the people here at the Alliance that are trying to help you be successful. It takes some work and commitment, but most of all, it takes belief in yourself. I believe in you, the Alliance believes in you, and I'm pretty sure Andy and Jane believe in you too. So let's go, make it happen. You are awesome, and I'm so glad you're all here. I have the wonderful pleasure to bring up an amazing woman. She's overcome so many things, and now she and Jason are killing it. I'd like to bring up Miss Olga Mathis.
You okay?
I'm good, sorry.
Good morning, Alliance. Oh my goodness. God help me. Well, my name is Olga and my handsome husband, Jason Mathis. We are doing this for about 6 years. And I'm so blessed to be in this company because I just see all the speakers and I said, they invite me to talk, me? Wow. And to see Jane Albright, I love you, Jane, so much. You are so amazing. And to see all you guys here. And I think, wow, I'm from Colombia. And I always think, one day, I want to be somebody. I know one day somebody's going to believe in me. And I have big dreams. Since little, I want to be, when I was in Colombia, I always want to be in United States of America. So I'm so happy about that. That happened. And I had a question for you. Who loves to dream? Right? I love to dream. Right? So yesterday, Andy Albright gave us this. What do I want? How do I get it? And I love to dream, and we have to be a dreamer. And Andy Albright, Wednesday, he was talking about a dream, and I said, oh yes, thank God, because I had to talk about that, right? So he said something that stayed on me. In me or on me? Something like that, you understand. Okay, so he said, you had to dream so hard that you can smell it. And that is the way how I had to dream. What is what I want? What is the car that I want? What is the house that I want? What is the trips that I want to make? What is the legacy that I want to leave to my family, right? And I changed the legacy of my family, so that is the amazing thing. And be so specific, not just I want a big house. No, it has to be really specific. So this is what I did for 3 years, the last 3 years. I go to bed, and immediately I close my eyes. I start to dream about my house, the house that I want, right? So close my eyes, I open the door, and this beautiful house with this beautiful kitchen. And I always want a white kitchen with this beautiful faucet. Everybody has different dreams, right? That is my dream. So I dreamed so much about this kitchen, and guess what? 2 months ago, I got my kitchen. Woo! Billy, can you show the kitchen? Woo! You see the faucet? Can you go to the next one? Let me see if it's the other one. Oh, the other thing that I always dream. Woo! That's beautiful. And I always dream to have lights around. So every morning that I get up, I turn my lights and they start to blink. So I'm going to invite you guys to my house and have a party and put my lights and blink. So, thanks to the Alliance, I'm so blessed because whatever you can dream, you have to dream hard, right? So, I'm so excited with my kitchen. So here says, this is in 2014 I got this book, and I still have it, so I'm so excited because it's the old one, you know. I know we have a new one now, but I love my old one. Okay, so here says, get excited and enthusiastic about your own dream. This excitement is like a forest fire. You can smell it, taste it, and see it from a mile away. Okay? Be a dreamer. if you don't know how to dream, you are dead. Hey, my English is getting better, right? So excited. So one of the things that I do, and I am so excited because I dream with my girls, and we have a call in the morning at 7:20 every single day, right, Sarah, Carla, Charka, somewhere. We have a call, and we start to get an amazing day in the morning. So one of the things that I want to do is tell you the affirmations that I do. I know you're going to say, but what dream has to do with affirmations? But it's the thing that how we start the day, and we start to dream, and we start to change our lives, right? So one of the things that I do every single day, 6 days, Sunday we have a day off, right? So is, I am unlimited. I believe in the impossible. I have the confidence to move forward fearlessly. I am disciplined and consistent. I am what God says I am. I can do what God says I can do. God is guiding me, helping me, and filling me with His love. I am determined. Any goal I set, I reach. I manage my time efficiently. Every day someone calls me to help them with insurance. Yes! Every day someone calls to join my business. I am working for $1 million annuity. Woohoo! Okay, people see my heart to help people, and they are drawn to my light. I am excited about life. I have explosive energy. I communicate with urgency. I am confident. I am consistent and persistent. I am beautiful in every single way. I expect abundance. I earned the trip to Alaska already. And I have my whole team in Alaska, and I can only win, win, win. The only thing that I can tell you is, never forget, girls, that you beautiful, you sexy, and you powerful. Love you, bye, girls.
Good morning, ladies. If you have a black Ford Fiesta with a Georgia plate of RMS 0724 parked in the red lot, your alarm is going off. And also up next we have Miss Katrina Guston.
I didn't know I was going to get a squat workout getting on the stage. Next time, we should tell them there's way more of them than us, and we need the big room with the stairs to the stage. Jane? Just. Listen, y'all, I'm so happy to see you. Everybody says I'm so blessed to be here. I'm not exactly sure what that means, because I don't talk like that. I'm just happy y'all think I'm cool enough to stand up here. That's kind of what that's Katrina's version of I'm blessed, y'all. I'm so happy to see everybody, and so proud and so lucky that somebody thinks that I'm okay. Isn't that all kind of what we think at some point? Am I good enough? Am I okay? Am I supposed to be here? Who's looking at me? Do I have a booger hanging out my nose? I just thought I'd make y'all laugh. So one thing really quick, I want to recognize who in the room is not a producer, who's not a personal producer, who is a supportive spouse. Can you stand up? I said raise your hand, then I said stand up. I couldn't make up my mind. Wow, okay. So what I think is super cool is there's a whole lot more people sitting down than standing up at this point in time, which is awesome because we're taking over the Alliance. Ladies? And what I wanted to do for you guys is tell you, you don't know how important you are. I don't want to speak to people just like me who go out and help families. I want you to know that it doesn't matter if you do that or you don't do that. I don't think you understand how valuable you are to your mate, how valuable you are to your family member, to your friends who go out and do this, because we do this well, but the other half of life, ask Bobby Belair, her and I have conversations about this often, we kind of suck at sometimes. So we need you so that we don't suck so bad. Thank you. I'm supposed to talk about goals, which I thought was a little funny because I think that that's probably one of the things that I'm not consistently good at. So it's really made me think. I've actually been thinking about it for the past several months. Doc Rock has been down, Jeff's been down, listening to Tim a lot lately, and it's just something that's been really on my heart and on my mind. Talking about visualizing your goals, continuously thinking about them. So my first thought process when I saw that is you have to have a goal first to visualize it. I know that seems redundant. If any of you think that sounds silly, that's where I have been so much. And that's why I've stayed so frustrated at times, because I haven't really had a goal. I just been kind of, you ever heard floundering? I prefer flopping around like a fish out of water. You ever catch one? Anybody ever go fishing in a pond that somebody dug in the clay? It's just the nastiest, stinkiest, most fun experience you'll have. And when you catch a fish and you throw him up on the bank and well, I'm not going to do an impression because I'll fall, but you can visualize the flopping fish. He can't breathe, he's getting tired, and he ain't going nowhere. And soon he'll die, because that's what they do, right? So without us having a goal, that's what we do. We flounder, we get frustrated because we don't go anywhere, and we're not going anywhere because we don't have a plan, because we don't have a goal of where we want to go. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I can sit around and do the same thing every week, and this is what I do. On Monday, I run business. On Tuesday, I go to Tim's. On Wednesday, oh wait, we won't talk about that. On Thursday, I run business. On Friday, sometimes I run business. And a lot of the rest of my week has been filled with a whole lot of whatever I feel like at the moment. Well, that's good and all. I still make a lot of money. But I'm kind of unhappy when I do that, because that's the same thing I've been doing for 3 years. I mean, come on. What do you want? So decide what you want. If you want to visualize the floppy fish, it helped. Because I don't want to be frustrated. I don't want to be frustrated like that, and I want to make sure that everybody has an example that's not just Alliance related. I remember when I was in high school, I first got there and I was so awkward, and I didn't know. See, I live in Auburndale. For y'all of those of y'all who don't know Polk County, the middle of Florida is Hickville. I'm from there, I can say that. And so I went to the big city of Lakeland to high school. I was from Auburndale. The big city of Lakeland is a far cry. There's people who live on Lake Hollingsworth and these $500,000 homes, and they're so fancy, and they've had music lessons all their lives. I went there to play cello, which is something that I love to do. I love music, but I was kind of out. I was out of my comfort zone. And I remember standing in the orchestra room, and I had a teacher. His name was Mr. Lambert. He's about this big. He plays drums. It's compensation. So, I said, you know what? I want to graduate at the top of my class. He said, well, Katrina, you probably should have started thinking about that, like a long time ago, because people are probably way ahead of you. And it made me think, number one, that it had been in my mind, but I hadn't told anybody. And so I was like, well, I'll show you. I've been thinking about it. So I remember where I was standing, I remember who he was talking to, I remember where I sat, and I remember the look on his face when I told him, I said, oh, I've been there. I've already got that figured out. I hadn't made a B yet. He said, okay, fine. So what's cool about that is that I remember that, yes, I look very young. I'm not even 30. I remember that, though, when I was like 14. And I remember thinking that. And then I decided to start telling people. So that's what I did. I told him, and I told other people. And that's something that I focused on so much, and I thought about so much, and I took every advanced placement class I could take. And that's when I walked across the stage at the top of my class. Because it was a goal, and it didn't take me a long time. It wasn't some really long thought out. It was just like, you know what? I think that'd be cool. I'm going to beat everybody. So I did. I didn't expound on it from everywhere. The same thing happened with the Alliance, with Andy saying, well, we need you to run 20 appointments. I said, well, I can do that. I'm scared as heck, but sure, I can do that. And it became an obsession. I was constantly thinking about it. So when we're talking about visualizing continuously, you have to have something in your head to visualize in the first place. Otherwise, you're not going to get where you want to go because you don't even know where you want to go, right? The key is this: you're going to reach your goals, but you can't stop there. Yeah, I graduated at the top of my class. Yeah, I wrote 20,000 plus for a year in a row and hired a couple of people every month. I did that, and that's cool, but unless I have new goals, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm just going to be frustrated. So don't be the flopping fish. Always have a goal. You're going to reach them. You're going to meet them. But then you need to have a new one, because that's how you stay alive. I love you, ladies. I hope that helps somebody. I want to bring up my friend, my comrade in barbecue. She is one of the sweetest, most open, most loving people that I know, and she always tells me I look so beautiful and so awesome, and it just makes me want to squeeze her and never let go. So, Tia Edwards, come on up. Come on.
Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. Oh my goodness, good morning to all of my Alliance sisters. How are y'all doing this morning? As always, I am so fired up that I get to serve our Alliance family today. And I don't mind, and I don't take it for granted at all. First, I gotta thank Andy and Jane so much for always loving us as a family, trusting us and believing in Terry and I. Thank y'all so much for letting this country girl know from Northampton County, North Carolina, know that you don't have to be perfect to be here. But you're looking for those that have a serving heart, and I promise you I do have that. So thank you, Jane and Andy. There's one thing I know. I know that I only have a window time left here on earth, and it's my job to serve God, my family, and my Alliance family the best that I can. Now, I got to pick my notes up, y'all. Now, how do I keep a positive outlook while serving? There's 3 ways that helps me to stay positive: enthusiasm, have a vision, and association. Google defines enthusiasm as an intent enjoyment. So when people have enthusiasm, they're enjoying what they do. Now, ladies, let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all enjoy what you do? Raise your hand if you do. Y'all enjoy exactly what you do? Awesome. You may be involved in the business, helping to build the business, or you may have an outside career outside of the Alliance, or you may even be a stay-at-home like I used to be. But are you really enjoying what you do? Enthusiasm is who we are. It's an attitude of how we progress, how we process things and respond to them. In the book of the House of Values book that Andy Albright wrote and Jeff Bright wrote, there's a quote from Brian Tracy, and it states, I'm gonna read it. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude towards what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering change, whether allowing it to master you. Basically, Brian Tracy is telling us that we had no control over what took place in our life, but we have control over how we react towards the situation. And when we react in a positive way, we're winning. To be a little transparent with you, during the first 12 years when Terry and I was married, we went through a lot of infertility treatments. My heart's desire was to know what it felt like to be pregnant and to give birth. I could have been bitter. I could have been like Naomi in the book of Ruth. Naomi, she was bitter. She had lost her husband and both of her adult sons. She was bitter and she thought that God had turned his back on her. That's how I could have been, with the wrong attitude. But I trusted God and I trusted the process. So the moral of this story is, don't worry about what could go wrong and consider what could go right. Next, have a vision. Vision is the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. It's a mental image of what the future will or could be like. So I want to do a quick exercise with everybody real quick. So if you don't mind, just close your eyes for me. Just for a few seconds, just close your eyes. What do I want in the next 5 years? Is it that dream car? Is it that dream house that you're thinking about? Is it a family? Are you writing a check to pay off those student loans? Yes, Lord. Are you sending a check to your favorite charities or your favorite church? Or are you homeschooling your kids now? What do you want? Or are you cutting the ribbon at your new office? Or are you living a less stressful life? Or how about this? Have you cut out some of those negative people in your life? Now, what are you willing to do to make these things happen? Open your eyes. Later today, maybe during lunch, write out what you thought. Write out what you saw, what your vision was. Last year, Andy actually had us to write in our journals every single day our 10 goals, visions, and the 3 actions, yes, the 3 action plans that will make those goals come to pass. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. Some of the things on my list has already came to pass. Working out 5 days a week, check. I eat healthier, check. January, in my journal, I had put down that me and Terry will start traveling, going on every single trip of the Alliance that's going to happen. And also, before family reunion, me and Terry said that we wanted to become qualified agency managers, and that has already taken place. So guys, when we keep our visions before us, it forces us to serve more and want more. Number 3, association. My grandma used to say, watch the company that you keep, Tia. They can either take you higher in life or they can drag you down with them. But here at the Alliance, y'all, we have an amazing team, Andy and James and the ladies in this room, that's only here to take us higher where we want to go. So in closing, thanks again to Andy and Jane for this opportunity. And I'm challenging each and every one of you ladies to bring the enthusiasm this weekend, because it's all in our hearts. We already have it. Write down the vision, and then also associate. Get around other ladies that you haven't never met this weekend. Make contacts with them. Get their contact information. Take selfies with them. Hello. So thank you so much, ladies. And now I'm going to bring up the beautiful Belle Krause. Belle and her husband, Jake, they are not only warriors of America, but also of the Alliance. So please stand to your feet and help me welcome Belle.
Good morning. I am so glad that everyone else that stood up here is told how nervous they are, because I literally get such big stage fright that I like black out in my head. So if I say something that seems to go nowhere, it's because I forgot where I was going with it. So I want to take a moment and just thank all the women in this room. I grew up in a place where hope didn't exist. It didn't exist for anybody, but it really didn't exist for women. And I look in this room and I am so inspired and I am so grateful for the role models that are out here every day, on calls, on webinars, on this stage. And they bring hope to so many people. And to have the honor to be asked to stand up here among them, it still blows my mind. It's like, wait a minute, they called Belle. Did they call the wrong number? Jane, you are my hero. You really are. I see the beautiful, kind, loving woman you are here today. And I think about the woman who started, who didn't know that this was going to be real, but had it in her heart. I think about the woman who followed a crazy man knowing he was crazy and stuck to it. The one who loved enough to let go and allow him to fail over and over. That takes courage beyond belief, and I thank you for it. From one crazy wife to another, I thank you for it. I was given a topic of excellence with a winning spirit. And to be honest, I didn't know exactly what that meant until they said it's when you have something to prove. And that is something I know a little bit about. When I graduated high school, my ticket out of that place that I grew up in was the military. And I had this vision because somebody had told me that in the military I could be all I could be. And it was going to be this great place where we were a team and we worked together and there was this camaraderie and things were going to happen together. But believe it or not, there are people out there who don't want you to win. There are people out there that you're told are on your team who aren't for you. And I ran into a couple of those. When I joined the military, I joined as an explosive ordnance disposal technician, and that's just the Army's way of saying the bomb squad. And at that time, less than 1% of that field was female. Less than 1%. It had the highest failed out rate in all military schools except for nuclear submarine operator. It was a 9-month course. It was run by the Navy on an Air Force base that all services attended. So it was a hot mess is what it was. And I entered this environment thinking I was going to be on this team and that as a team we were going to win. And I met a lot of great people there. But there was a handful that liked the fact that it was less than 1% female. There was a handful that were committed to keeping it less than 1% female. And they had no problem expressing that to me. So when you talk about something to prove, this was the first time in my life I had someone that was just actively against me. Growing up, there was people that was just inherently against any growth. They didn't know it. They didn't realize it. It's just how they were. This was the first time I faced people that were actively against me. And so I want to tell you a story about a man, Staff Sergeant Terrell. I was about halfway through this course, 4 months in, and I had done well. I had done well in the technical aspects of this course. I had done well in the academic aspects of this course. I had done well in the military aspects of this course. I could follow orders. I knew protocol. I knew procedures. I could do that. This man pulled me aside and he said, I don't have a legitimate reason to kick you out of here, so I'm going to work you until you quit. I'm going to work you until you quit. He said, every day when we do our physical training, when we do PT, we are going to run until you throw up. Every day. We did our physical training as a class. I was in a class with 25 men. These men were bigger, they were stronger, they were faster, and they had more stamina. But you know what they didn't have? They didn't have more stubborn. They didn't have more commitment. They didn't have more fear of the humiliation of quitting than the humbling experience of fighting every day to win. I'd like to say that I did not throw up every day, but that would not be true. Sometimes it was 2 miles, sometimes it was 5 miles, sometimes it was sprints up and down a hill. Sometimes the other men in that class, in a snide remark, would say, hey, can you just throw up quick today so we can be done? I got plans this evening. But every day, we went out there and we ran, and I embarrassed myself every day, thinking today was the day it wasn't going to happen. It always did. But you know what else was happening every day? I was winning. I was winning every day, because every day that we went out there and we ran and I threw up in front of all these classmates, all these peers, I got enough courage to do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, until it just became part of my day. I didn't even think about it anymore. It's just part of what's going to happen. So while Sergeant Terrell thought that he was winning this battle, he was fighting on the wrong battleground. He was using that physical strength to fight a mental battle. You can't win when you're fighting on the wrong battleground. I had home field advantage. It was in here. This battle, this war was in my mind, not in his. Billy, can you bring up the picture? This is what it looks like when your haters have to hand you something they don't want to give you. Ladies, I know we all have adversity. I know we all have haters. We all have someone or something out there that want to stop us from reaching our goals. And so what I want to do is I want to challenge each and every one of you to reach down deep inside and find that lioness that Michelle Alleman was talking about. Because no matter what animal we are, when push comes to shove, there is a lioness inside of every one of us. Every one of us. I want you to get up every morning, and I want you to take this battlefield of life, and I want you to fight. I want you to fight for the purposes you were created for. I want you to fight for the things that you believe in. I want you to fight for the things that you deserve to have. And I want you to go to bed every night in victory. The victory of knowing you gave it all you had. No matter what it looked like, you gave it all you had, and that you are willing to get up again tomorrow and do it all over again. As long as you don't quit, you win. Thank you. I have the pleasure of bringing up someone that I believe is so fierce and so amazing, and she doesn't even know it. Jane Hill, I love you. I love how amazing you are.
God, Belle. Jeez. I really don't want to go up after any woman, but God. Okay. I mean, I don't want to be first either. That wasn't what I was implying. Okay. All right, so I'm Jane, and my husband James is over there somewhere, you know. I am grateful to be up here. I am. Even even though I don't want to be, but I am grateful that you trust me to be up here. So thank you. I'm sorry. Okay. So the gratefulness, because it does begin with gratitude, even though I don't want to be up here. So thank you. All right, so my topic is on openness and transparency and authenticity. And I was like, you people are having way too much fun with me. So I think in some ways I am just so uncomfortable being open because it involves talking and it involves people. And I don't like to talk. Really, I don't. And I don't like people. So I'm going to share with you, and I don't know how many of you are going to, so growing up, I'm Asian, in case you can't tell. And I don't think I've ever told my parents I love them. I don't think my parents have ever told me that they love me. I mean, I assume they love me, right? I'm sure they assume I love them, but we're just not, as a culture, expressive people. And you guys say, I love you a lot. Like, it's uncomfortable. Okay, so I don't know how many of you are going to relate to this, but this business has done everything from like allowing me and James, like in May, we got to eat dinner on top of the Eiffel Tower on my birthday. Like, it was literally on my birthday. It was cool. With the Minikinos and the soon-to-be Van Thoffs, wherever you are. There you are, okay. And to meeting some of the most inspirational people I never thought I would meet. And to changing my perspective and outlook on life. And the flip side, and this is the thing, sometimes at the exact same time, it has also had me asking myself, what the heck could possibly be worth all of this nonsense that is going on in my brain and outside, right? What is the point of going through any of this struggle? I have yelled at God more often than I think any human being should. You know, I've justified and reasoned that the money isn't worth it. I've paced around a lot like this too, you know. And I've kind of questioned the very core of who I am. And I don't know if any of you have ever felt like this at all, you know. And people say, oh, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I'm like, I don't want to be on the journey. I just want to get there. Can I just be there? You know, you can take your freaking needlepoint frame thing you're saying and just shove it, you know. So I think that what I've learned is that I'm not alone, that other people feel like this too. Maybe not the needlepoint shoving it thing, but you know. Because the difference with a business and a job is that this is your baby, right? You put your heart and soul into this. If you're at a job and your boss just tells you you can't take the afternoon off to go to your kid's game, you're like, well, sucks, you know, but you're not like crying well, maybe you are, but you're not necessarily crying in the corner about it, you know? So what I'm trying to do some days, a lot worse than other days, is I'm trying to be who I would like to, I want to be the person that I want to be, right? Not the person that I necessarily am. So they say life doesn't give you more than you can handle. And I don't know if that's true. I think sometimes life can actually give you more than what you can handle by yourself. Like, that would be the key, right? But with this community, with this family, and all your lovey-dovey emotions, right? These are people that will fight for you and fight with you, right? So you don't have to experience it by yourself. And community doesn't happen overnight, right? Everyone is a part of this family from the beginning. But the closeness that happens is because you show up every day, because you fight every day. That's what causes the bond to happen, because you know that all these people who have made it on these trips and I was fine before you ladies started talking, making me cry, okay? I was fine with my talk before I got in here. But all these people who are on these trips, right, you know that they battled through their depression and their doubts and their anxiety, and they picked up the phone when they didn't want to, right? That's what we know. So the principle is we pick our destiny and then choose our values to line up with that destiny. We don't pick our values and then say we'll somehow end up at our destiny, right? And so it's like telling your GPS, oh, everyone left their notes up here. Oh, look at that. It's like trying to get your GPS to tell you where to go without typing in the destination, right? Your destiny is a super fancy way of saying it's what your identity is. So in weight loss, it's a saying, like, what would a healthy person do? Every time you come across a decision, what would a healthy person do? Stairs or elevator, right? And so it's the same thing here in this business. What would a top producer do? What would a builder do? What would someone who wants to make a difference do? Do you make dials or do you binge on Netflix? Or organize your kitchen, right? Do you go door knock or do you go home or do you run an errand? Do you hit the snooze button or do you get up and read? Right? And the good news is that every single day we get to make the choice. Sometimes every single hour, sometimes every single minute, right? But you decide who you are, and that's how you grow. So I probably talked really fast. I thought I was going to run out of time. Okay, so I think one of the most difficult parts of this is, don't you wish it would happen faster? Right? Does anyone wish that, do you think you'd actually lose more weight if you ate the salad and you saw the weight come off? Right? Or if you did a sit-up and you saw the abs, right? But what do we get? We're just hungry and we're just sore, right? What kind of positive reinforcement is this, you know? Good. So, it's kind of like making dials and running appointments, right? The immediacy doesn't happen, but it's a principle. It's a universal principle. You know, we could all sign a petition, right? Take it to somebody, but it's not going to change the fact that this is a principle, right? So what I'm going to ask everyone is, they say at the end of your life, you regret all the things that you don't do. So let's not look back and realize that we copped out and we gave up. And we gave in because we didn't feel like we were making a difference at the time, and we just gave up too fast. So our community, our culture is great because you keep showing up, because you keep fighting, and you encourage me to do so every day. All right, so I think everyone should have a friend like this wonderful woman who I'm going to invite up right now. And I called her a couple weeks ago, and I said, Tawny Gary! She said hello. I said, Tawny Gary, I need 3 minutes. She's like, okay. And then I vented for 3 minutes. And she was like, so how are you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Thanks. You know, and I think she has such a fierce spirit, and I am so fortunate and grateful that she is in my life. So Miss Tawny Carey. With your fancy shoes. Love you. I love you. Here, I got it. Yeah.
I love this team. If you haven't been watching, like, every woman has helped the other woman get on and off the stage, partly because I think we all know we're all clumsy, and we would fall off the stage, or fall getting on the stage, or fall down the stairs today, coming to the Alliance. Not saying that was me, but all I could say for those of you that were in Paris is my teeth are okay. And if some of you don't know what that's about, you can check it. You can come see me and we'll talk about it. But here's what I want to talk about today. So I have a song, and it's my ringtone. Okay, and you may know this song, and it's by Ariana Grande. I don't endorse whatever that it is, but it says, I see it, I want it, I like it, I got it. I want it, I got it. And it's my ringtone, because here's what I know. If I want to seize it, I must see it. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, when my alarm goes off, every week, every time my alarm goes off at 4 o'clock in the morning, my response to my ringtone is, I don't want it. I don't care if I got it. Because at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's a choice. And I don't know if you guys are like me, but I love this place, but I also, at 4 o'clock in the morning, hate this place. is I'm getting ready to get on a plane for a conference. And some of you guys are like, nope, I come in and I'm just singing. My alarm goes off and I start explaining away all of the excuses I could give to not be here. And I send Jason happily because he doesn't necessarily have to stay for me to be happy. Like, he can just go by himself. But I'm giving all the excuses as to why I am not going to come. And then I remember this. It says, successful people have formed the habits of doing things that failures don't want to do. And I sigh, and I throw my blankets off, and I get up, and I'm so angry. But then I remember that successful people have formed the habits of doing things that failures don't want to do. So this morning, ladies, I want to talk to you about becoming savage. Ooh, becoming savage. What? I don't even know what this meant, but my teenagers, so I'm going to start with this. Please pray for me. I have a 14 and 16-year-old daughter. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what religion you are. I will take all prayers. It does not matter to me because I have teenage daughters. And they come up to me and they are like, Mom, my friends think you are savage. And I was like, that's right. I don't even know what it means, but let's do it. And I was like, I don't even know what to say to that. I said, why do your friends think I'm savage? They go, I don't know, Mom. They just see you just get after it. They see you take charge. They see you make things happen. And I was like, if they only knew what a train wreck I am. If they only knew that I graduated high school not because I took math, it's because I found a loophole that said if I took auto, all right, I could get past my math. So technically, I can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Beyond that, not so much. But I can change your oil. Yay! Something I will never do. So becoming savage. I don't know what voice speaks to you, but mine is like a high pitch, and she sounds a little like this, like, that's the problem. See, that's how mine speaks to me. I think of things that are maybe not going well in my life, and it goes, well, that's the problem. You didn't have the right education. That's the problem. You were born female. That's the problem. I am clumsier than all get out. That's the problem. I didn't come from the right family. I'm not tall. I'm not skinny. I'm absolutely and utterly ridiculous and winging it just like everybody else. Trying to figure out along the way. So every time that's the problem rears her head, it's usually in the mirror when I'm trying on pants. She's like, that's the problem. I know. I ate the desserts, okay? It's the problem. I like it too much. She goes, well, if you worked it, I know that's the problem. I don't like that either. I come back with, I can handle it. I come back with, how can I, instead of, how can't I? I come back with, I can handle it. No matter what comes my way, I can handle it. No matter what happens, I can handle it. If you lose everything, it's okay, ladies. You can handle it. It doesn't matter because you can handle it. And that's what I tell my that's the problem. That's what I tell her every single day. I can handle it. And then I go, how can I? How can I? I was sitting here and I'm thinking, have you ever found how easy it is to procrastinate? Especially when you're not good at things. Oh, my word, it's so easy. And we avoid those things which we know that if we got better at them, would change our lives immensely. Except the problem is when we avoid those things, it gets worse instead of getting better. Like the laundry, we avoid it. And then it just keeps growing and growing, and it never gets better until we do it. And then we have this sense of accomplishment, like, that's right, I just did all 15 loads in a day. And what I found is that the better I become in a particular area of my life, the more motivated I am to do it. So you're never going to feel like doing something. You're going to have to do it first, and then you'll become motivated to do it. So ladies, what I want to encourage you today is to love fiercely, to lead fiercely, to fight fiercely, because in that you will fiercely win. You are braver than you believe, you are stronger than you seem, and you are smarter than you think. And it is with great pleasure that I get to introduce Miss Beth Katz.
Good morning, y'all. So I thought I would start off by letting you in on what's become a little family tradition. But it goes back to some of my good friends. And one year, the Davies family and the Albright family and the Katz family found themselves at the beach. And after supper, Jane said, I know what we need to do. Let's go crabbing. And my kids, who were much younger at the time, were like, how do you do that? And Jane's like, well, we go out on the beach, it's got to be dark, and we take our flashlights and we shine it across the sand. And in case you all aren't very familiar with the coast, there are these little sand crabs. Now, these are not the Alaskan king crabs that you're going to have on the cruise. These are just the little sand crabs. And they're scurrying around. And then you take nets and you spot a crab and you go for it and you slam the net down over it. And then you pick it up and put it in a bucket. Well, my kids love chasing after these crabs. And there's squeals all down the beach. Like, you could hear all these children running. Then we catch a crab, and then the crab has got to get into the bucket. And there happens to be a Miss Holly Davies who is bad to the bone at getting crabs in a bucket. And so this has become, like we did this all together, and then we get back home, and we live in Wilmington, North Carolina, so we're on the coast, and the kids are like, we gotta go crabbing. And so we get our flashlights, and we get our nets, and we go out in our buckets, and we go out there, and they catch a crab, and then they're like, who's gonna put it in the bucket? Who's gonna be Holly? And suddenly that became my job of grabbing the crabs. And so here's what I have learned through these years now of going crabbing at night on the beach. As soon as you catch one crab, you better find number 2 fast. Because in case you don't know this, crabs can climb up things that you had no clue they could climb. And so that one little crab, all by him, little lonesome, he starts climbing up the bucket. And he gets to the top, and he comes right on down the outside, like onto my feet, because I'm usually the one holding the bucket as well. And then I'm the one squealing like a girl. But you get 2 crabs in that bucket, they start pulling themselves down like crazy. Like one crab gets up, and the other crab, he'll come up there and grab him, pull him back down, pull him back down. You get 3, 4, 5 crabs in there, man, it is an all-out war in that bucket, and nobody is going anywhere. Like, we've even dumped them back out because we release them if they survive the catastrophe. But we release them, but they'll come out like without their claws because one of their friends helped pull them down, pull it off of them, rip them out. How many of y'all are here because you want to change your life? You want to change your legacy. You want to do something different. You want to tell a different story. Then beware the crabs in your bucket. All right. One of my, the crabs in your bucket, they are the naysayers in your life. They're I've heard them called the basement people. They may be part of that BMC club. Blank, moan and complain, rhymes with a witch. But, you know, those kinds of people. In one of my favorite books, The Magic of Thinking Big, David Schwartz calls them the negators. They are out to negate every single thing you do and want to do in your life. So Andy was talking on the TWC Wednesday, and he said, I'm just a turtle on a fence post. Because when you see a turtle on a fence post, you gotta know he didn't get there by himself. And Andy said, I've been really good at surrounding myself with a team that will lift me up and with mentors who are fighting to live, whose walkie-walkie matches their talkie-talkie. All right, so we're wanting to be more like the turtle on the fence post. We're wanting to keep small people from destroying our dreams, from pulling us down, from making sure that we are less than we are called to be. So I want to give you 3 tips, and this comes out of The Magic of Thinking Big, but I want to give you 3 tips to becoming who you want to be, to avoiding the crabs in your bucket. So number 1, develop a defense against people who want to convince you you can't. Develop a defense against people who want to convince you that you can't. You know, we've heard that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Bull. Right? So you need to make sure that you are putting on a defense against the words, against the actions, against the people who are telling you that you can't, because this team will tell you that you can. Well, how do I develop a defense? I read a book within a book that says put on an armor. Put on the armor of God. What's our alliance armor look like? Have you heard of a book list and like reading that you get to sit down with Andy Albright and have a one-on-one conversation with him every time you pick up one of his books? That you can sit with John Maxwell, that you can hear the great minds having a personal conversation with you through the books that they have written, or through the audio. Like, go back, Alliance Media, go back and listen to the TWCs, listen to the activity calls, listen to these leaders share their hearts. All right, number 2. Don't let negatives destroy your plan to think for yourself. My background is education. I taught high school Latin and English. And when I started my first year teaching, my mom said, hey, when you get your first class roster, don't tell the other teachers who's in your class, because they'll start telling you bad things about those kids, and then you'll come in with a negative attitude. But you're a different person, and you can affect their lives differently. Thinking for yourself gives you the ability to dream, imagine, and create the world you want. You get to think for yourselves. You get to choose the mentality that you're going to lead your life with. Number 3, birds of a feather flock together. Let's see, I've done crabs and turtles and birds, okay, and I'm a cat. Okay. If you hang out with negative, you become negative. If you hang out with positive, you become positive. Culture trumps everything. That's why our hot spots matter. That's why us loving each other and high-fiving and believing each other, that's why watching these women lift each other up on the stage matters. We get to associate with winners so we can win. On our best days, some of this stuff is easy. And on our worst days, my gosh, it is hard. I can't keep you from the battles that life is going to put in your place, but I can promise you that this team will surround you. They can't keep you from going through it, but they'll walk through it with you. They will help you become the person you want to become, the person that God made you to be. We're going to win. And one of my favorite winners, a good friend of mine, and every time she texts me, it just makes me smile. I love watching how she and her husband battle, and they come through. And without any further ado, Courtney Long.
You guys should see all the notes that are all over the place up here. Good morning, everybody. There's so many beautiful faces in here this morning. I wanted to first take a minute to thank Andy and Jane, but especially you, Jane, because I know it wasn't easy for you when you got started letting Andy leave to be away from the family, the tears and the keyboards, the endless lonely nights, and I know it's still not easy. It doesn't get easier, but you know now, I think, that he's out there changing all of our lives for the better, and so I just wanted to thank you for allowing him to do that, even though it's not always easy. Here at the Alliance, we have a community. We have a friendship, we have a community, a friendship, a family like nowhere else I have ever seen or ever heard of. Around here, we lift people up. We don't pull people down. Around here, we try to find the best in people. We do our best to keep a positive environment and not spread rumors about each other. Constructive conversation is good, but let's face it, we're not always being constructive. So maybe you should ask yourself, is this the right thing for this community? And I have some questions to ask yourself. Do I spread rumors about other people? Do I always have good things to say about others? Do I like to hear reports of a scandal? Do I judge others only on the basis of facts? Do I encourage others to bring their rumors to me? Do I proceed my conversations with, don't tell anybody? Do I keep confidential information confidential? And do I feel guilty about what I say concerning other people? So think about that when you are talking with the other ladies in the Alliance, because we do need to protect our community. And this is a community that we call a family, and we enjoy being together. We enjoy being around each other because we want to find the best in people. We enjoy doing things for each other. So when someone is feeling down or going through something, we all want to jump in and help. When someone is celebrating something, we all want to celebrate with you. Let me tell you how I know that we are in the right place. I'm not the only one who can say that Andy and Jane have done things for us, Chris and I, that CEOs don't do for you, that bosses do not do for you, but your family does for you, the right family. Jane, you are a true blessing in my life. You have made me stretch myself and dream bigger than I have ever thought I would. And I love you for always being the real you, and I cannot thank you enough for that. This is a community you need to be a part of. I know I don't know a lot of you, but I would love to. Do not let the RBF that you see on my face scare you. It's really not meant for you. It's made for the other people. I'll tell you a quick story. So when my girls were younger, I have an 18-year-old who's here today. I had a 15-year-old, and I would take them to the bus stop when they were little, and I would never talk to, nobody would ever talk to me. I know I didn't talk to anybody because I'm kind of shy. And they would tell me, the parents would tell me years later that I always looked like I was so mad at all the time that they never wanted to approach me. They were scared of me. And I was like, really? Because in high school, they used to always tell me I would get hit by a Mack truck and I would still be laughing. Because I laugh about everything. I don't understand why you would think I was angry all the time. But I think now that I know what an RBF is, I understand it better. Anyway, reach out to the people here at the Alliance. It's a safe place here. Let us fill that need in your life, because you will be forever changed, forever better, and be forever grateful for the community that we do have. So with that, I get to introduce an absolute amazing person. She is such a good friend. She's always been a huge supporter of her husband, even when he wanted to move halfway across the country to start this business. They are the top income earners in the business. So without further ado, Heather Fitzgerald.
Good morning. Are we having fun yet? We have the advantage. The people here have an advantage over the people who are out there. So if you're here this morning for the very first time, if you're here for the Jane Albright 100th time, I don't know how many times have we been here. Either way, you have the advantage this morning because of what Andy and Jane have done with this massive, fearless vision that we all show up with hope for tomorrow. No matter what you woke up in this morning, there's somebody here who probably has been through it. And that's why there's so many of us talking. If you're wondering how many of us there are, I don't know. But there's a few more still coming, and the best is yet to come this morning. But you're not alone. And that's important that you know that, and that you have hope. And I'm reminded of that every time that I get around here. It's interesting because the topic that I was given is identifying constraints, your key constraint. And in some ways it's been hit on this morning. I love when Angie Coleman had everybody stand up, if you've been through something. So if I asked you to raise your hand, every single one of you would raise your hand and say, I have a constraint in my life. Brian Tracy in the book Eat That Frog, he calls it a limiting factor. Constraints and limiting factors are like onions. It's just one layer after another. Every time you push through one, you just enter another season of life where you find more. He also talks about the 80-20 rule, that every constraint is 80% internal, 20% external. 80% internal means it's the way we think about something. 20% external means the actual way that we execute what we're doing. So the book of Heather would tell you that every single constraint, in order to remove a constraint, identify and remove it, it always causes us to have to change something that we believe. So something within what you believe has to change. Something about what you believe about yourself, something about what you believe about other people, or something that you believe about the system, the business at hand. It has to change in order to identify and remove that constraint. So what I've learned through the constraints that I've gone through is that what I have learned through the constraints that I've gone through, and I've just lost my complete thoughts, but what I have learned through the constraints that I have gone through is that you have to change something that you believe. Oh my gosh, I don't think this has ever happened to me in my entire, but I did bring my notes up here. I know, thank you, ladies. You know what else? I gotta pee really bad. So I'm sitting here thinking I better start talking a lot faster before y'all become very aware of how bad I have to pee. 3 cups of coffee and a cup of water, they're all in there right now. Okay, I said it, that what you believe about yourself, about others, and the system at hand, you got to change it. Okay, I got to move faster. Every time you feel anxiety or fear, you are wrestling with something you believe about your future. Every time that you feel like people are, you get on that phone and you're calling and a client says something unkind or hangs up, or your family doesn't understand and says something unkind about you. Every time you're choosing to believe what you believe about yourself. You have to confront that and decide what you believe. Every time that you're not getting where you want to go in this business, you have to decide what you believe about this business. Every time that your sales and your new hires are not what you want them to be, you have to decide what you believe about your agents and your clients. See, if it's not where you want it to be, there is something faulty in your belief system. So I want this weekend, I want this point to help make this weekend really impactful for you. Because I want you to have a strategy for how to identify what do I need to change leaving this weekend. And here, I read a book that told me that your belief system is shaped by your experiences. But our belief system determines what we do determines what results we have. Now, the problem is we don't all have great experiences in life. In fact, most of us have really crappy experiences. So it shapes what we believe. But what I want to tell you, and what you're hearing over and over again, the narrative is you don't have to believe the narrative of your experiences. You can choose to believe different. You can literally choose. The problem is you don't get that revelation until life gets hard enough. You won't. You won't understand what I'm talking about until life gets hard enough. That's why you have to go through the constraints. That's why you have to have these limiting factors. In 2012, for me, it was a point in my time that I began to really understand this lesson, because it started for me this like perfect storm in life where I just felt like I got hemmed in on every side. And it's usually those times of dark depressions when you get hemmed in on every side. I gave birth to my 3rd baby, which was great and horrible all at the same time. You guys know what I mean? My mom died 6 months later. My best friend, who loved me, just didn't agree with the decision that I made. That wasn't a wrong decision. She just didn't agree with it, so she alienated me. We were in a perfect storm in our business, and we lost quite a few agents, and part of that process my husband just made the tough decision to turn in an agency manager that we had at the time for doing unethical things. And every single insurance company agreed and decided to terminate that person. Well, that person spent 2 or 3 years viciously attacking our character, like sending us texts, sending us emails, sending us pictures of, look at this group of people I'm together, we're taunting you. How can you call yourself a leader? How can you call yourself a Christian? All of these things. I had never been so ruthlessly attacked, and if that had been an isolated incident, it might not have driven me to the same level of despair, but it wasn't isolated. And so what I realized, the epiphany I had through that struggle, the epiphany I had is I didn't like myself very much. That was the truth. It was the reality of where I was. I liked myself based upon if everyone else liked me, how everyone else talked about me. That's how I went to sleep peacefully at night, knowing that I was at peace with everyone else. And I had to decide for myself in those dark moments. When you're in those darkest moments, it's when your belief system is most vulnerable. And it's most important that you get around good people, read good books, and get to conferences like this. But it's making that hard choice to decide I did like myself. And through the process of doing the affirmations that you talked about and making the choice I did like myself, because I decided that the contribution that I made that day into someone else's life, I decided that the things that I said about other people, I decided that who I was, if I could go to sleep at peace with who I was, it didn't matter. It didn't matter what someone else said. I was no longer vulnerable to the opinions of other people for me to like myself. If you don't like yourself, you're not going to get where you want to go. But what is it for you? See, my storm had to reveal to me that that was my limiting factor in that moment and season. What is it for you? And where are you trying to go? You're hearing this talked about all morning. But this weekend is going to expose your belief system. And you're going to have a chance to choose something different. Thank you so much for letting me speak with you this morning. I'm really not on my game this morning. I'm like, how do I turn this mic off? I don't. What I do is I bring up one of my best little girlies here. She's coming up. She is a constant party on the dance floor and forever faithful and loyal, and one of the wives of the top performing agents in this company. Come on up, Miss Holly Davies. Here, I'll pull you up. My friend.
I am Holly Davies, and I love catching crabs. I had to get it out there. Okay, so, and Jane Hill, I love you. So I'm super excited to talk to you today about integrity. Apparently, I needed this subject because Jane Albright has helped me so much on this one. I think they give you a topic that either you're really good at or really need some work at. I gave Jane a run for my money. Her money, my money, something money? Okay. First of all, we're going to start with, there's 4 topics to this, integrity. First, you have to start with choice. My pants keep riding up. Oh my gosh. Okay. So choice. These are the things you stand for, your values. What are they? Core values. Integrity being one. You can look at NAA. They have great core values. That's one good place to start. What do the values I embrace mean? What do I stand for? What are my values? How do I live them? Is what I'm doing in my life, are they showing that I have core values? Are they showing that I have integrity? Living by principles, not feelings. Number 2, alignment. We're going to talk about thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Questions. Does this thought align with my values? For example, I'm going to be nice. I'm a parent. There's a lot of parents in here. And then this world portrays such a self-centered me type thing. I don't even know the best word for that. But I don't need a lot of me time. That when you have children, there's not a whole lot of you time. Being a parent, that's being a parent. Like I said, I'm going to be nice, so I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm just going to move on. Okay. Does this feeling align with the values? Do my feelings? We can control our feelings. Honestly, we can. I mean, we might have to delay them for a little bit until the principal actually kicks in. So, feelings. There are some times I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. That's just the feeling I have. I don't want to do absolutely anything. I don't want to take care of anything. I don't want to do 15 loads of laundry. I don't want to do it. But what happens? You got to change that thinking. You got to change those feelings. Because my integrity, my value, that's not saying who I am. Being lazy, it just doesn't work. Do the words I want to, do the words I want, do my words align with my values? Am I sarcastic? Yep. Am I cutting? I can be. So when your words are cunning or sarcastic, you need to change that. And that is integrity. Do the actions I take align with my values? Stephen is known as the funny guy, and he is. But boy, does he annoy the heck out of me sometimes. So therefore, my actions, do I scream at him? Or do I do the silent treatment? Stephen says that all women should be created with like a rattling snake, when you're like, I'm fine, and all you hear is a not true. We are not fine. Anyway, do you know what FINE even stands for? Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. We're all fine. I'm always fine. Third, living authentically. Being transparent. What you see is what you get. Not oversharing. Don't be that dramatic, like, oh my gosh, let me tell you what's going on, and oh my God, I hate it. Everything's just so, oh my God. Don't be that draining person. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes you. Expressing and sharing your feelings. I just did. Openness. Be open. Don't be defensive. Have empathy. Seek to understand before being understood. Then there's sincerity. I always want to say serenity. I don't know why. Harboring resentment and old hurts. We want to genuinely want the best for others. It's integrity. Being real. Not be judgmental. Be down to earth. Meet people where they are. And number 4, we have model and teach. We have the model of Jane Albright and Andy. They have taught us so much. She has taught me how to drink 9 martinis on a menu. I'm just kidding. But no, who I was 10 years ago, a lot of you know me. A lot of you don't. It's a good thing you didn't know me 10 years ago. But when you have someone you can model, don't take that for granted. It requires paying it forward. So once you benefit from this culture, we have a wonderful culture. You know, you hear about women, these top women talk about there's nothing else like it, and they are not lying. But when you have a culture like this, it's integrity to keep using it. It's integrity to keep teaching it to others. So integrity is not reaching for perfection, because you're not going to be perfect ever in this system. Integrity is the attempt. You have to try. Integrity is the choice to try to do better each time. Integrity. What are your values? What do you stand for? It's an honor to be able to speak to you guys today on that. So thank you very much for listening to me. I get to bring up one of my closest friends. We kind of grew together, and it's been fun watching her grow, watching her come out of her shell, and just so many memories I have with her, laying in the pool, just chatting and crying and laughing. It's been amazing. So without further ado, I want to bring up Tamara Roberts.
Okay, I want to warn y'all, I'm not funny like they are. My name is Tamara Roberts, and I'm married to Paul Roberts. And I first want to thank Andy and Jane for inviting me to speak. They always, especially Jane, likes to stretch me and help me grow and definitely pull me out of my comfort zone, because that's where I'm at right now. I would like to speak to you ladies today about deepening your relationships. I was reading the book, The Friendship Factor, and it was kind of eye-opening on a lot of things that, you know, I love my friends, and it made me also realize that I really don't have a lot of Texas friends. That's where I'm from, by the way. I have friends in Louisville, Kentucky. I have friends in Burlington, North Carolina. I have friends in Florida. I have friends in Ohio. Well, I do have a few Texas friends. You know, the Fitzgeralds are there. But most of my friends are far away that I work on deepening. And it was also eye-opening that I read this quote in the book that says, "Love must be learned and learned again and again. There is no end to it. Hate needs no instruction, but wants only to be provoked." And that's eye-opening, because I struggle, like Holly had mentioned, I came out of my shell. I have a hard time. I kind of have a guard with me. I have a wall built around me. And so I love people, but I don't want to be hurt. And so I protect myself, but in protecting myself, I've managed to isolate myself. And so these past probably 8 years, really, since kind of coincided with my husband getting sober, I've been able to come out of my shell as well. So I guess we both grew at the same time, which was really good. The first part of building a deep relationship is you have to make love a priority. It has to be a priority for you. You have to make that effort. You have to think about it every day. Like, for example, Paul and I have date night. And I know that sounds silly because we have grown-up children, which I'm so excited to say my 2 adult daughters are here today. And we still make time for date night. And as you all know, they get very busy, preoccupied. They can be with you, but not with you. So we have to make an effort to be with each other. You also have to do that with your friends and your team. You have to, because we're all at a distance too, so you have to reach out to them. You have to call them, even if it's just to say, I love you, a quick text, I'm thinking about you. You have to make it a priority. Another way to deepen a relationship is not, like I was talking about a minute ago, not be afraid of the loss. Don't close yourself off from getting hurt because you're going to miss out. I realized once I started opening up what I was missing out with some of the best ladies in the world. For example, you know, I've got to know each one of them individually on trips, and the best example that I can think of is Jane Albright. She is able to stand up here and be vulnerable. She's cried with us up here to everybody, even if she's never met you, and shared what's, you know, makes her happy, what hurts her. And when you do that, when you allow that, you allow others to be vulnerable to you, and you feel all that love, and you're missing out on that. And so don't close yourself off. You're going to miss all the rewards of not only finding out how amazing that person is, but you're missing out on growing yourself, and you're missing out on, now I feel like Heather, I just lost what I was saying. Just don't close yourself off. The next thing is, have you ever wondered if you have a lot of acquaintances or you have certain friends? Because I know that with today's world, especially with our young people, that they have a lot of acquaintances with Instagram and Facebook. But, you know, I love the fact that I may not have tons and tons of friends, but I have good, solid friends. I have a handful of good, solid friends that I know that I could call at any moment, and they could call me, and we would be there for each other. That's the same what you need to do with your team, though, because if you're not building the relationship with your team, you're not getting they're not going to feel loyal. Like, I feel loyal to Jane. I feel loyal. I feel loyal to her in our friendship. I feel loyal to her in our business. I am not going anywhere whether she likes it or not. And that's the same aspect that you need to do with your team, not just your close friends, with your team. You need to love them honestly, be there for them honestly. Because if your team sees you loving others, they're going to love you and be loyal to you, because they're going to have a dark moment in their life. And if they don't trust you, they're not going to come to you, and they'll just disappear. And that's not something we want. We don't want somebody to disappear on their dark time. Love is the road to happiness. It's like gratitude. You have to work at it. You have to love. You can't go out and chase it. You have to love others. I know I probably sound a little redundant, but it's true. You have to love others constantly. Love on others. And I have the biggest mentor in that. For those of you who know my husband, he has the biggest heart of anyone I know. He is an example to me every day, to remind myself, because there are still today weeks that I will go, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to Jane, or I haven't talked to Courtney, or I haven't talked to Noelle, or Holly, or Beth, or Heather, or whoever. And, you know, but my husband has probably talked to, I don't know, 20 people while he's running at 7 o'clock in the morning, but legit talking to them. And we were talking about this this morning because, you know, I have a tendency to freak out the morning of women's conference and pace, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes I've jumped up in the middle of the bed yelling at him, I don't know if I can do this. And he was reminding me that, you know, that I could do this, how much I love all of you, and just to really remember, you know, how I feel when I walk in the door here. And the first thing I saw was Courtney's big old smile, and then the next thing I saw was Jane winking at me, and we were peeking around people, and it made me realize, yeah, you know, they gave me the perfect topic. And I want all of you to feel that love for your friends, feel that love for your team, and most of all, feel the love for yourself. Like Heather was talking about, if you don't love yourself, you're not going to be able to do any of the things that I've talked about today. So I would like for you guys to all spend this weekend figuring out what you love about yourself, and that's all I got. Now, I gave this person time, just kidding. This was one of the relationships that I love deepening. Her and I have traveled together, we've shopped together, I've stolen from her, and and I love her and her husband with all my heart, me and my husband both, to the amazing woman of the Alliance, Noelle Leventovich.
Okay, so I don't need help getting up the stage. I might need some help getting off the stage. I'm just saying real quick. Some of you might not know, but I fell off of stage over there last year. Nearly killed myself or something like that. But I tell you what, the people in the room lifted me out of that. And so thank you for that. But here I am again, close to the edge. Hey, this is a safe place here. I tell you what. Hey, you get the theme for this family reunion? It's all these talks, all these women expressing all their feelings, all their transparency, whatever. You get me. You get me, right, Olga? Transparency. That's what this alliance is about. This is a safe place, okay? That's right. Tracking? Yeah. That means, do you follow me? Do you understand? Okay. Our ultimate duty. Okay, so did I leave my, no. Our ultimate duty. Okay, write this down, all right? This is something you need to write down. Get your pens and pads, okay, real quick. Love. Okay, that's it. I'm done now, all right? We good? Hey, Jane Hill, highlight that, circle it, red mark it, capital letters. Take it, post it on your forehead, okay? Our ultimate duty is love, okay? And love conquers all. Falling off a stage, cancer, headaches, heartaches, breakups. Love conquers all. And then you get to the point where, well, shoot. Jane's looking at me. I got to go over here. Love is hard. Did you ever see that thing, or read that thing in that one book that says, love is patient, love is kind, love is this, love is that, love is blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no offense, but love is freaking hard. And the guy that said those words and all that, it was hard for him. And love is not easy. And hearing it is not easy. It doesn't mean you're all sweet and lovey-dovey all the time and you got the birds chirping and the butterflies flying around your head and stuff like that. Let me tell you about the love I had this morning at like 3 a.m. Okay, don't worry. I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know that pee thing you were talking about? I almost peed my pants when Tony Carey was laughing. I'm just saying, I've held it in for a while now. But I got up and I had to go to the bathroom, right? And so I don't like to turn the light on when I have to get up in the middle of the night. You know, I just want to get back in my bed and go back to sleep, right? So I go in the bathroom, and what I felt, the love I felt was really wet when I sat down. I was like, oh! Oh, my only thought in my head was, did he flush? Took all the strength in me not to go out there. Anyway. Love is hard. Love is the hardest for us to love ourselves, though. You've got to love yourself first, right? It first starts with you. Inside the Circle of You, Andy's book. If you don't have it, please get it. It's in the store. Massive. It starts with you. And you can search the whole world. You can search the whole world. And you're never, ever going to find anybody more worthy of love than you. You. All of you. There's only one you that ever, and I told my daughter this the other day. There's only one you that is, was, and ever will be. That's got to count for something. That's got to count for something. So how do you do that? Problem is, right, here's a problem. The problem is my head is fighting with my heart. My heart's saying, okay, I got to love, and I love, and I love, and my head's saying, by the way, Tawny, I got a what is it, the problem voice? That's the problem voice says, mine says, Noelle, what the is the problem with you? That's the one that it's got the, anyway, did they blank that out? Okay. The problem is my head is fighting my heart sometimes. And the negative thoughts start creeping in, right? And the negative words start seeping in and all that. Like Tawny was talking about, that's the problem voice. What can you do to provide and protect for yourself? Sometimes we're so busy providing and protecting for everyone else around us that we don't provide and protect for ourselves. I've been blamed for that, and I know I do that. So what can you do? Okay, so write some things down. Ready? Number 1, forgive yourself. Your past does not define you. Your past is not who you are. Your past is in the God-blessed past. Get on with it. Write all that crap down on a piece of paper, throw it up, rip it up, and throw it in the fire, and then just move on from that, okay? Your past does not define you. Don't waste your today in your past, please. We don't have much time. Okay, number 2, eliminate words that don't build up. Eliminate words that don't build you up. You up. Speak that into you. What you speak, you hear. It comes out of your head, out of your mouth, into your ears, and right back into your head. If you're speaking negative, that goes right back in you. If you're speaking positive, that goes right back in you, okay? Number 3, get around people that lift you up. And there's so many women here today that you can get around. Seek them out, okay? Get around them. I don't know how many texts and calls I've had from all these women up here that it's just like the right timing, and they didn't even know it. But then I got to reach out to them too, don't I? I can't leave it on up to them to think, well, why isn't she texting me today? I mean, what the hell? You know, look at me. You got to do the work of that. Love takes work, man, right? Okay, so love yourself. Okay, the second thing, and keep that in the forefront. The second thing, or the other thing about forgiveness, by the way, I wanted to mention this, forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Forgive others. Okay, that's easy for you to say, Noelle. Okay, quick story. Not many people know about this. I'm going to share it right now up here on stage. When I was pregnant with my son, he was I was pregnant, so he wasn't born yet. I was going to say he was 1, but he's not 1 because he was in my belly at the time. And Jane, forgive me, okay? I'm just saying. I was pregnant with Eamon, my son, and he wasn't born yet. I said that already. And this is hard for me to say. When I was 8 months pregnant with my son, my sister got shot in the back of the head by her boyfriend, fiance, in the middle of nowhere place, Ohio, at like early in the morning. Nobody knew what happened, right? All we knew was that she died. That was hard, man. Yeah. Women. Got to remember my place. I saw my family very angry. Very angry. They were filled with so much hate that they couldn't move beyond it. I didn't want to be like that. I said, okay. One of my favorite lines in the Bible is this one. I don't know the exact words, okay? I'm Catholic, so I don't memorize. I drink wine. He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. If he can do that for me, I can do that for this person. So at his trial, I stood up there and I said, I forgive you. I know you need help. I forgive you. And my family, they didn't quite go along with that. But it wasn't for my family. It was for me to get beyond that. Forgiving is hard, and I don't think we do enough of it, but I especially don't think we do it for ourselves enough, okay? One time, here we go. One time Andy told me, I was in the back of the room at some meeting in Ohio, and Andy was standing back there, and he leaned, and somebody was talking on stage, and he leaned over to me, and he said, God uses people. I am people, you are people. We got to help them to believe. And that stuck with me over many, many years. You have one life to do great things. Realize the chance, as imperfect as it is, the impact that you can make. Page 198. Okay, I got to read the inside the circle. I'm running out of time real quick. But inside the circle, this stuff is in here, okay? 198. This hit me. People ask me why I keep working so hard, why I'm not content with the many blessings in my life, and why I don't slow down. This is Andy's book, okay? The answer is simple. I'm not done helping other people get what they want in life. There's too much greatness in the world for me to waste talents. So this is my mission. Help more people. That's what this business does, okay? That's what it's helped me do. By the way, hashtag, ready? Hashtag it up. Hashtag we are the world changers. Hashtag Alliance World Changers. That's what we do. That's what we are. Be an example for that. The number one cause of the failure in this world is the lack of time. Number one cause of failure in this world is lack of time, but it's not because we lack time. It's the lack of focus with our time. What we're doing is bigger than you think it is. Here's one more thing, and I got to roll. One more thing. I knew I was going to have way too many notes. I mean, you can read them later. The last thing, remember who you are. Remember who you are. You're a miracle. You are enough. You are a masterpiece, baby. You are beautiful. You are loved beyond measure. And get to your feet and help me welcome the woman that loves so much and so deep, Diane Lampy.
Let's help you down. Now what about you? Yeah, help me down. I saw your arms going out. Hey guys, how you doing? When I was asked to, the subject I was asked to talk to you about, I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because this is my favorite subject and book in the whole wide world outside of the Bible and Proverbs. Okay, just so you know, I'm going to make that very clear. The book is called Think and Grow Rich. And I don't know how many have heard of Napoleon Hill. Anybody in the room? All right. And so I was thinking about that. I thought, hey, this is a book that really changed my life. And I get to talk about it right now. I've studied this book for about the past 15 years. You notice I haven't said I read the book, because I've read the book, but I've studied the book. And so what I wanted to do today is talk to you and share with you some things about it. Why is this book so special? Okay, Napoleon Hill, and I'm saying, okay, why is she telling me this? Because I want to tell you how much it could change your life. This book sold, or all his works have sold, over 100 million copies. Okay, now, even presidents in the forewords have written tributes to him for this book. It's very life-changing. And so I happen to have a gold version of it. And this is my last one, because I had bought a lot of them. And I wanted, I thought, what young person in this room could I give this to that could change their life as it changed mine? And you know what? I saw this little girl grow up. I've been around the Alliance for 13 years. I want to give this to Emily Katz. I'll do something for you later, okay? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about how this book can help you. Now, I'm going to talk to you about this from my heart and what it's done for me. You can buy the book. Andy's got it in there. It's one of Andy's favorite books. The leaders have read this book over and over again and studied it. And so I was thinking about it. I said, what can I talk about today of it? Well, here's the interesting part. In that book, he gives you 30 reasons for failure. 30. I'm not going to give you all 30, okay? You got to read the book. But there's 13 principles for success. So you got more chances of failing than you do of success, right? And you're going to say to yourself, okay, what can I glean from that? What can I do to get it in my head how I can think and grow rich? And I know the story, how the book title evolved, and it's pretty cool. You'll have to ask me about that sometime. I won't go into it. But I picked out 6 of them because I thought it has everything to do with what we need to do here at the Alliance and how we can get better. But I would highly encourage you to go get the book and read it and study it. And the first one I wrote down was the lack of discipline. So I'm going to give you 6 and hopefully give you a little bit about each one. And then we're going to talk about the success factor, how that you can turn it into being what you want in life and what you want for you, right? And the first one is lack of discipline. I wrote this down because I wanted to say it right to you, because self-mastery is the hardest job you will ever tackle. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. I know, right? And so it's that discipline of, if you heard all these great ladies speaking today, is doing the things that you don't want to, even when you don't want to do them, right? The difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is that. Tawny was talking about it, doing what you don't want to and doing it anyway because you know it's going to take you where you need to go, right? And the second one, and you've heard it so many times, is a lack of a well-defined purpose in life. And so a lot of us that are here, it's not just about, it's not really, we're in the people business, but oh, by the way, we have insurance products, is really what it is. We're here to help each other and change lives and make a difference each and every day. That's how I get up every day. And why I'm so fired up, because people say to me, how are you so fired up all the time? And I don't even have caffeine yet, and I'm excited because I'm high on life. I know what I need to do every day. I know my purpose. And I'm so blessed that I get to be here at the Alliance and us doing it together. And the ladies I know feel the same way. And there is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose. And that's why people fail 98 out of 100 times, because they're not clear. And so that's what you can get here, is clarity. Because we're clear, Andy's clear, Jane's clear of what our mission is. And we want you to be with us. Number 3, and you guys are not going to like this one. Ready? Are you ready? You want to hear it or no? I don't know. I'm just fooling around. I got to make sure you got it. Procrastination. Who wants that, right? I don't even need to talk about that because we have the diversion factor. You probably do this, you want to dial, oh, but wait, maybe I need to empty the dishwasher. oh yeah, oh no, the laundry needs something. Something always has to happen before there's something you really know you need to do. And it's being defined, and having your goals have to be bigger than your fears. And you just have to do it anyway, even when you don't want to. Okay, number 4 is lack of persistence. A lot of us, it's like, oh, the calls didn't go right. I'll get after it tomorrow, or the next day, right? Because if it's easy, everybody would be doing it, right? If that's where you're gonna come out of the crowd, and you're gonna show people, like you've heard, resilience after one person after another person up here fighting through it. Because I'm gonna tell you, it's worth it. It's worth it. And so what you got to do is think about, how can I keep that persistence high? A lot of times if you have a running buddy or something like that, and you're having an accountability partner and you just have fun with it. But if you don't, sometimes it's easy to just let it go, right? And then we get mad at ourselves. And that doesn't feel good either. And then number 5, okay, it's one of the 6 basic fears. I'm just going to tell you these real quick. I'm not going to go over them. I mean, I could talk about this subject for a long time, as many of you know, because I love this subject of Napoleon's book, not this subject, what I'm going to tell you, because it's the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love of someone, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. These are the top 6 fears that people have in their life. And they've got to be mastered before you can market your services. That's what he says in the book, effectively. Because what you focus on, you move toward. What you think about, you bring about. That's what happens all the time. And this one, to me, is one of the most important ones, is number 6. Remember, there's 30. It's lack of enthusiasm. Because we talk about that all the time. It's easy to follow somebody that's enthusiastic. And he gets up here, whatever he's got, we want it, right, Jane? Because he's so enthusiastic about it because he loves what he does, right? And he loves that. And so it's the enthusiasm that will carry you through, even on days that are tough. So let's talk about one quote I wanted to say about Napoleon Hill. He says in here, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding all those lean years. And I think about in the basement where Jane and Andy and some of the top leaders were there in the fight. This quote is so true, right, Jane? It's because you've got to stay in the fight and you got to go. Okay, so let's talk about how to get that success, because this is the part we got to talk about. Okay, it's the desire. It's the desire of what you want and how bad you want it and what are you willing to do to make that happen, right? And so I'm going to give you 6 quick steps, and I'm going to have you write them down, but I would highly encourage you to get the book, get with some people and study it. And implement it and do it, because it'll really help you. Okay, number 1 is fix your mind on now we're talking about money here, okay? This is what we're doing, because we're talking about Think and Grow Rich, because there's things that you can get with that, right? But it's not all about the money, because that's not what life is about. So number 1 is fix your mind on the exact amount of money you desire. You've got to write it down. You have to let the universe know what you want, because you keep telling it what you don't want. So let's talk about what you do want, right? Fix that number down, right? Number 2, decide, this is an important one, decide exactly what you will offer for that money. Decide exactly what you will offer for that money. Number 3, select a definite date to possess the money. You've got to put the date down. Guess what? Doesn't happen, move it out. Don't worry about it. But you got to put it down. Number 4, create a definite plan and implement it immediately. Immediately. So when you leave here, right? Maybe tonight you can work on this in your room. I don't know, because you're going to hear such great speakers all weekend, and it's going to get your mind going and moving, right? So think about these things. I think this, to me, can be a game changer for a bunch of you in this room. I'm telling you. I want to say all of you. That's what I really want to say. What do we want to say, ladies? All. All of you. All of you. Number 5, summarize steps 1 through 4 with a clear written statement. This stuff is all in the book of how to do the statement, okay? And number 6, read this statement twice daily and see and feel yourself already possessing it. Guys, this is your shot. This is the perfect storm. What's going on here at the Alliance is magical. The products are here. The environment is here, the culture is here, the people are here. We're all here in this together. We have unity. We want you with us. And the best way to do it is be clear exactly what you want. And you know what? I got to tell you this. I am honored to be standing up here talking to you. But the biggest honor I got right now is I get to introduce the lady that was right there in the thick of things, through the thick and the very thin, and thinner and thin, and then it got very abundant. And I'm so honored. I love this woman. Please help me. Stand on your feet and now welcome Jane Albright.
Yeah, they use this room to eat, right? Yeah, okay. I missed y'all last night, but I'm back today with a vengeance, or I'm gonna just be savage and get it over with, Tony. But I don't know if y'all figured this out, but it didn't take a whole lot of me to figure out you are among a bunch of badass women, just so y'all know that. And there is room for you at the top, so just make your way. And I want y'all to know that all those things they said about me are true on a good day. On a bad day, it's ugly, and I mean ugly, ugly, just so you know. But I want to personally thank all of y'all. I know what it takes to prepare, and for you ladies out there who haven't had the honor yet, your day is coming. They don't just get up here and talk. They have prepared, they have talked with people at the office. It takes work, so thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I really do appreciate it. I like to keep it simple because I think it's better that way. It's the KISS method, and I think we all like to kiss sometimes. So I'm going to make it short and sweet. I'm Jane, and I'm plain, and I like it that way. So just a few things I want to leave you with, and that is that I want you to know that every night has its day, every sunrise has its sunset, every valley has its mountaintop, every frown has its smile, every no has its yes, every problem has its solution, every setback has its comeback, every closed door has the next best open door, every flat tire has a spare, every tear has a tissue and a dry eye, every storm there is a rainbow, every dream has a reality, and for every one of you, there is a place for you. You are welcome here. So there's going to be a lot coming at you this weekend, but let me just encourage one thing, and that's to leave here with at least one new friend. And don't be scared to meet anybody. I mean, we've gotten up here and told y'all we're about to wet our pants. We've told you that our pants are riding up our leg. I'm going to tell you my feet already hurt because I don't hardly ever wear heels anymore. I mean, we've been very vulnerable with you. So please don't be shy and not come to meet us. A little bit of housekeeping, and I hate to rush you out of here, but there is salt and pepper and silverware on these tables for a reason, and that's because this is where people are going to be coming in and probably less than 5 minutes with their lunch. So if you made a mess, let's don't be like people on the other side might be, because we know men can be messy. Let's take our trash with us and leave it neat, and I think if we just kind of move toward the back of the room and congregate, that'll give housekeeping a chance to come in and follow up behind us. We love you. You're welcome here, and I hope you have a great weekend.